여보세요. I-DLE new video for a song called Nude. So I don't know. It might be anime nosebleed time. Let's see what they have cooking with this one, huh?
Why you think about nude? Cause you feel so rude. Think outside the box, then you like it. Hello, my name is Yappy Yappy Yo. 말투 멍청한데 몸매 sexy sexy yo. 그럼 달려봐, can't 열어 날 내가 포기냐고 뒤틀려버린 로렐라. I don't need a man. 철학에 미친 독서관. 싸가지 없는 스토리에 모지 황당한 야유하는 관객도 You treat me, you a liar. 발가벗 켜져버린 movie star. 별빛이 깨져버린 밤. 꿀이 볼품 없대도 뭔가 준다 해도 다신 사랑받지 못한대도 Yes, I'm nude. Yes, I'm nude. Baby, how do I look? Yeah, how do I look? Yeah, 아리따운 날 입고 따따라따라. Baby, how do I look? Yeah, how do I look? Yeah, 아리따운 날 입고 따따라따라. Ouch. 실례합니다. 여기 계신 모두 한 작품을 기대하셨다면 Oh, I'm sorry. 그딴 건 없어요. 안 부른 저쪽 대중은 흥미없는 정보. 그 팝콘을 던져도 덤덤. 행복과 반비례 평점 But 나의 정점 멋대로 낸 편견은 토할 것 같지. 발가벗 꺼져버린 movie star. 저 부끄러울 게 없는 맘. 거리 볼품 없대도 어쩌면 내게도 다신 사랑받지 못한대도 Yes, I'm nude. Yes, I'm nude. Nude. I don't give a love. Baby, how do I look? Yeah, how do I look? Yeah, 아리따운 날 입고 따따라따라. Baby, how do I look? Yeah, how do I look? Yeah, 아리따운 날 입고 따따라따라. Yes, I'm nude. Yes, I'm nude. Now I draw a luxury nude. Why you think about nude? Cause you feel so rude. Think outside the box. 까고 말해. 아리따운 나의 nude. 아름다운 나의 nude. I'm born nude. 변태는 너야. Nude.
So okay. Sort of one of these like positivity type of ideas, sort of concept, you know. Okay, fair enough, you know, like I get the appeal, I get the attraction. It's so there's a little bit of a throwback, you know, with the stylings here, especially the aesthetic. This is sort of a you know, a more of like an older style presentation, what with the stage setting, the various art settings that they're using, and so it's a bit of an homage to, you know, burlesque, maybe early sort of acts like that. Even the animation sequences, that the illustration, you know, that's a nod to things from the past. So I guess in a way it's saying it's a bit of an anachronism, of course. Those are commonplace, and I always sort of appreciate the concept of something that is anachronistic. So you know, it's kind of just saying like it's nothing new, you know. Don't, you know, I guess it shouldn't be that shocking, or however it's it's a cool styling. They did a nice job with this. As far as the framing, the aesthetic, and the framing and everything, it's interesting. It's interesting, and along with that, like really strong rhythms here. There's a rhythm that feels like maybe it's in 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's pretty up tempo, right? And then there's another sort of another section. I think it's maybe pre-chorus that comes in that feels more like a 4, still a quick 4, like a 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. It's a pretty up tempo song, but some of those more dance style rhythms, almost like a tango, you know. So you're getting a first beat, and then there's a lot of space and more emphasis on a later beat, right? So it feels very dancey. It feels like there's a pull back and forth kind of. It's interesting. I haven't heard a rhythmic structure like this. It's been a while. Like normally, you stay maybe in 4 or in 2 with maybe some change ups here and there, a little bit of emphasis on either the 1 and the 3 or the 2 and the 4 or something like that, just to provide some contrast. But right out of the in the beginning, in the intro part with the piano and the vocal with the piano accompaniment, that establishes that very specific sort of rhythm that's being used here, and I'm pretty sure it's a dance rhythm. And this is an older classical type of a dance rhythm, if it is something akin to like a tango or something, right? So this is all sort of a throwback, a little bit of a reference to things from the past. Very nice strings that are being used in this one. There was the synth bass is also it's big, it's very heavy, it's very strong, and there's that one part where she's sort of turning around and doing a little tease act with her choreography, where the bass gets like just massive, it's huge and it's fat, and it's like it's so big that it's getting a little bit distorted, so it becomes like a brr, brr, almost like a really strong trumpet blast or something. But it's a very cool sound. There's some crazy rhythms that are going on here. It's like the biggest contrast is the rhythmic portion of it. What else? The vocals. The heavily syncopated vocal rhythm structures in most of the parts. You probably have the most concise or least syncopated when the chorus part comes around, pre-chorus. But your verse rhythms, the bars that they have, it does not rely on the beat whenever it's coming around. They're just going all over the place, like doing whatever they want to do in the rhythm parts. It's an interesting song. It's super interesting. Like it feels like it's just something just out of left field, just out of nowhere. Okay.
Why you think the partner because you feel so rude? Think outside the box, then.
So very staccato piano part, and her vocals like really strong. I mean, she's almost like yelling. You know what I mean? She's singing, but it's like a shout. It's like a wah. It's a forte. Like the dynamic is very high on that on her vocal delivery there, and it's establishing that tango like rhythm. Then.
Hello, my name is Yappy Yappy Yo. 말투는 멍청한데 몸매 sexy sexy yo. 그럼 다해봐
So the first vocal part there was it was actually sticking close to that tango rhythm part. It was sort of moving following that, because it just feels like it lays way back on the beat. And she's like da 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 da. Yeah, it's very tango like, and so totally changed now. Like I feel more of the 4, like in 4 time here. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and again another contrast here. So the percussion is a little bit lighter now. You definitely have your lower end kick sound, the bass, but there's a lot of space in between that and the vocals now. Only a sort of a 16th note going on, something akin to like a click, like almost like the shells, but there's a lot of space in between the low end and the vocal part. Snare hits to come in now, and it's pretty much just like 4 on the floor, so it's filling in that space as the vocal parts get a little bit more spread out, kind of, it's less broken up, and these vocal lines are connecting between each syllable and each word that's being delivered there. So it's a build up to a very cheeky, like, dropping out of the beat and everything, and on just a it's very playful. It's very clever. It punctuates the build up to the transition. I believe into chorus part here. It's a very cool strings part. Yeah, so we have the kick, we have the 808, and then this really sort of cool tango like strings loop that's going on over it. So it feels like there's a bit of an effect on there. It's a little bit wet, but I can't tell with what. Maybe some compression. But it's interesting, man. This is like one of the most interesting mixes that I've heard in a while. This is like it's good. It's cool, but it's also just so different. If this doesn't feel like anything I've heard in a while, without lacking consistency or continuity, it actually does a very good job of shifting in between all of these different rhythmic patterns and very distinct feels, but it doesn't feel like it, like you don't know where you are, you know what I mean? Like you're still there, and it's going to come back around, and you can tell that it's going to do that. This is a super interesting mix. Stronger synth bass. So really nice, actually, that string samples, very nice arpeggiation on those chords. It's like, man, that's some wicked playing. If you know what I mean, like if you have to play that, because it's very strong. That's not, that's a little bit forte also. It's not like really laying into it, but that tempo, in that sort of like exaggerated triplet type of a feel, man, this is cool. This is super interesting.
Ouch. 실례합니다. 여기 계신 모두 한 작품을 기대하셨다면 I'm sorry. 그딴 건 없어요. 안 부른 저쪽 대중은 흥미없는 정보. 그 팝콘을 던져도 덤덤.
So the bass and the drum now are really just emphasizing 4. This is in 4. But she's her rap part is incredibly syncopated. It's full on like polyrhythmic type of composition here. Her rhythmic pattern is it fits within the strongly emphasized 4 count that's going on right now, but it's not dependent on it at all. It like she's moving wherever she wants to, whenever she wants to. It's a very, very articulated sort of polyrhythmic composition. Rich syncopation. So you notice all of the classic art, this 1920s flapper style dress. It just, yeah, there's so much like a nods to the past, to older things, even in the mix. But it, of course, it's not at all. I mean, it's very contemporary, right? So again, this anachronistic type of quality to it. Man, this is an insane composition and mix. This is crazy. It's crazy that it works so well. Like really strong contrast, polyrhythmic. You know, like the change-ups. Each section is rather short, but there's so much happening between when they start and when they finish. Like it's actually pretty impressive that it has such a continuity. This is a cool string. This string sample just makes this the chorus part. Those arpeggiations. They're so good. Listen to that. Oh man, dude, some fat, dirty bass, man. Oh, yeah. Gosh, that's like man. That's there's something classical about that sound. Like if you were listening to maybe a symphonic band, it reminds me of like the maybe like a tuba sound, you know, that like a really, really low but loud, big, loud, round, right? And with a bit of that distortion. It's so, man, it's a huge sound. It's huge. Now I draw a luxury note. You think about mood, cause you feel so rude. Think outside the box. So the big chorus at the end. Yeah, the build up. Very compressed vocals. Sort of fading out. And a minimalistic end. With just the word nude. What a crazy different type of song and mix. Like, this is one of the most interesting things that I've heard in a while. And that's, you know, even with some of the newer type of stuff that I've heard, you know, this is a crazy composition, man. They look awesome. They look fantastic. Their sound really good. It just, the different rhythmic patterns that are going on in this, there's so many different rhythms that are going on. Really awesome anachronistic stylings, string samples, string arpeggios, strong staccato and vocal opening. really, really emphatic contrast between sections on all the different layers, from your percussion and bass parts, the rhythms, the synth rhythms, the vocal rhythms. It's so like there's so much contrast and there's so many different changes, but it works. Like the changes never feel too abrupt, too like unnecessarily sort of assertive, like forcing it, you know what I mean? It doesn't do that. There's tension, but not much dissonance. And the incorporation of the dance-like sort of tango rhythms. Dude, I'm telling you, the strings sample on this track is what makes it. It gives it such a tonal flavor. You know, it absolutely gives the character to the mix. And then the second strongest thing is going to be that bass part, that almost sounds like a tuba when it gets just really massive and huge. And then the vocal delivery, the absolute, just at times it's smooth, at times it's very smooth and dance like, at times it's a big chorus type of delivery, and then the rap bars that you get are just so syncopated. They are completely unmarried to the underlying rhythm, right? The underlying sort of beat pattern that's going on. It's very free, very, very just sort of an independent emphasis on like independent rhythmic and so polyrhythms that are going on here, and it all fits so nicely. It all fits like super well. It's a crazy mix, dude. A crazy composition that is very bold to pull off. This is a very bold style to pull off, and it's characteristic of I-DLE for sure. You know, it's yeah, just that sort of empowerment type of attitude, you know, take, right, that approach, the concept. It's super interesting, and I really give him a lot of credit for pulling this off, because this is a bold, gutsy type of song to pull off, a performance. Like it's very well done. It's very well done. This is one of the most interesting songs that I've heard in a while. Even considering all the newer stuff that I've sort of checked out recently, this was crazy, man. This is crazy. This is a good one. I know like this is a new single, I guess. If I don't know if it's going to be part of a new album. I have to catch up to see if it, you know, that's what they're gearing up to do. Because this is super interesting, man. Like you know, whatever if this is a lead into to a new album that's coming out, I think it's going to be like really, really interesting, because it's very solid. It's just yeah, this is such an original, different type of approach. And you know, if I-DLE is one of those later generation groups, this feels so strong and is so, and has that continuity, so it's just starting to sound very signature, very like characteristic, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is a super interesting mix and composition. This is very cool. This is very cool. New release from I-DLE. That's it's super creative and it's gutsy, man. It's gutsy. It's like it's very bold. They did a good job.